Hey everyone, and welcome back to your favorite channel, Billipedia, your K-pop and K-drama encyclopedia. Today we need to dive into some really shocking news coming out of the K-pop world. Just a few days after it was announced that Seunghan would be returning to Riize following a hiatus, it turns out that he's officially leaving the group. SM Entertainment's sub-label, Wizard Production, confirmed this on October 13, and honestly, it left a lot of fans stunned and confused. Let's break this down, what happened, what it means for Seunghan, Riize, and the fandom, and of course, I'll share my thoughts and opinions about it. So grab a seat and let's get into it. The timeline and announcement. For those of you who may not be completely caught up on the situation, let me give you a quick summary of the events leading to Seunghan's departure. Seunghan, who was only 21 years old, was on a hiatus from Riize after some controversy surrounding his behavior before his debut surfaced online. Though the specifics of the controversy weren't fully detailed, photos of Seunghan emerged that caused quite a stir among fans and the general public. In the wake of that, he released an apology, expressing his deep regret and disappointment in himself. Fast forward to just a few days ago, when it was announced that Seunghan would be returning to the group after reflecting on his past mistakes. This came as a surprise to many, and while some fans were excited about his return, others voiced concerns and discomfort over the decision. But then, just as quickly as the return was announced, Wizard Production made a follow-up announcement saying that Seunghan had decided to leave Riize entirely. The official statement highlighted that Seunghan expressed his desire to leave the group for the sake of both the fans and the remaining 6 members of Riize. In Seunghan's handwritten letter to fans, he explained that he felt it was in everyone's best interest for him to step aside, especially since his return had caused confusion and distress among fans. He said he didn't want to cause any more harm to his members, his company, or the fans, and that he hopes Riize can continue to grow and be loved by their supporters. The reaction from fans and the industry. Now, let's talk about the fan reaction. As you can imagine, this news has led to a mix of emotions in the K-pop community. Fans of Riize, known as Brides, have had a pretty tough time processing the back and forth of these announcements. Some fans are heartbroken by Seunghan's departure because they were rooting for his redemption arc, hoping he could bounce back from the controversy and continue his career with Riize. Others, however, felt that his presence could potentially overshadow the group's overall dynamic and success, especially since Riize is still in its early stages as a new group under SM Entertainment. And of course, whenever a K-pop member leaves a group, there's always that ripple effect. Fans have been sharing their thoughts on social media, and while there are plenty of supportive messages for Seunghan, you can also see that some are frustrated, both with the company's handling of the situation and with the fact that Seunghan's past actions put him in this position in the first place. From an industry perspective, this decision also raises questions about how companies handle idols' controversies. While some idols have successfully returned from scandals with time and reflection, it seems like Wizard Production decided that the best course of action was to support Seunghan's decision to leave the group, likely to protect Riize's brand and allow the group to focus on their future. Okay, here's where I'm going to give my 2 cents. First of all, it's really sad to see someone as talented as Seunghan leave the group under these circumstances. He's young, clearly gifted, and had a lot of potential within Riize. It's clear that the decision wasn't made lightly, both from his side and from the company's side. I appreciate that Seunghan seems genuinely reflective and regretful about his past behavior, which shows a level of maturity. It takes a lot of courage to own up to mistakes, especially in the public eye like this. Wizard Production's handling of Seunghan's return announcement raises serious concerns about their decision-making process. Announcing his comeback only to retract it a few days later suggests that they may not have fully considered the complexity of the situation or the sentiments of the fandom. Riize's fanbase, Riize, had already experienced a great deal of emotional turmoil due to the controversy surrounding Seunghan, so this abrupt reversal only amplified the confusion and uncertainty. A more thoughtful approach would have been to carefully evaluate fan feedback before making any official announcements, instead of rushing into a decision that clearly wasn't finalized. By doing so, they could have avoided the backlash and protected both Seunghan and the group from further distress. The emotional roller coaster fans were put through could have been entirely avoided with better communication and strategic planning. When Wizard Production initially announced Seunghan's return, they gave the impression that the situation had been resolved and that his rejoining was a done deal. However, by backtracking so quickly, it became clear that they hadn't fully gauged the fan reaction or prepared for the possibility that the announcement might not be well received. This kind of indecision reflects poorly on the management, making it seem like they acted hastily without a concrete plan. Fans, especially in K-pop, expect transparency and consistency, and this mishandling likely eroded trust between the company and the fandom, leaving many feeling disillusioned. What Wizard Production could have done differently is either wait longer to assess how the fan base might react to Seunghan's return or communicate openly with fans about the situation before making such a major announcement. A more gradual reintroduction, perhaps through a statement acknowledging fan concerns and explaining the decision-making process, could have helped ease the tension and given fans time to process the idea. Ultimately, better communication would have allowed the company to make more informed decisions, reducing the confusion and emotional toll on the fandom while preserving the integrity of the group's brand. But on the flip side, I also understand why the company might have been conflicted. On one hand, you have a young idol who made mistakes before his debut, but who could potentially learn, grow, and contribute positively to the group. On the other hand, you have the risk of alienating fans who feel uncomfortable with his return and might distance themselves from supporting the group altogether. Impact on Riize moving forward. Now, in terms of what this means for Riize, I have to say that this could be a critical moment for the group. Losing a member so early in their career is tough, especially since Riize is still working to establish their identity and bond with fans. They've only recently debuted, and group chemistry is such a huge factor in success, particularly in K-pop. Having to adjust to being a 6-member group instead of 7 could shift their dynamic, but I think it's also an opportunity for the remaining members to really shine and step up. Riize management has already said they'll continue to support the 6 remaining members, and I think the best thing fans can do is rally behind them during this time. They're still incredibly talented, and they've been working hard from the beginning to build this group up. It's not easy to be in the spotlight, especially under the pressure of a controversy like this, but I'm hopeful that they'll come out of it even stronger. As for Seunghan, I really hope he takes some time to focus on himself and figure out what's next for him. Whether he chooses to continue in the entertainment industry or pursue a different path, I think it's important that he has the space to reflect and grow without the intense scrutiny of being in a high-profile K-pop group. It's also worth mentioning that K-pop is a fast-moving industry, and while this news is a huge deal right now, the landscape can change quickly. So we might see Seunghan return to the public eye in some other capacity down the line, who knows? Anyway, that's my take on this whole situation. What do you guys think? Are you sad to see Seunghan go? Do you think Riize will be able to move forward smoothly without him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know this is a sensitive topic, but let's try to keep the discussion respectful. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates on the K-pop world. I'll see you in the next video.